The old Victorian house stood tall and proud. It loomed over Emily and her family as they pulled into the driveway. It was beautiful in a dark and mysterious sort of way, but even as her parents enthused about the house's charm, Emily felt uneasy. Like a watchful presence was silently observing their arrival. Each creaking step and echoing silence amplified Emily's dread. That night, Emily lay awake in her new room. Every creak and sigh of the wind sent shivers down her spine. This house wasn't just old, it was haunted. One cold autumn evening, as a storm raged outside, Emily heard a distinct tapping sound coming from the attic. It was rhythmic, insistent, like someone was desperately trying to get her attention. Fear warred with curiosity inside her. She knew she should ignore it, pretend she hadn't heard anything, but something, some unseen force, compelled her to investigate. The attic was dim and dusty, lit only by a single, flickering light bulb. Cobwebs hung from the rafters like ghostly drapes. The air was thick with the smell of decay and the faint scent of something acrid and metallic. As Emily cautiously made her way deeper into the attic, she noticed a large, ornately framed mirror propped against the far wall. She had never seen this mirror before. It seemed to pulse with an eerie inner light. The mirror's surface wasn't glass, but something dark and reflective, like polished obsidian. As Emily drew closer, she saw strange symbols etched into its surface, symbols that seemed to writhe and shift before her eyes. And then she saw it, a face staring back at her from the depths of the mirror. It wasn't her own. The face in the mirror was pale and gaunt, with eyes that burned like hot coals. It was a face twisted in a silent scream of agony and rage. Terror rooted Emily to the spot, her breath catching in her throat. As she stared, mesmerized, she realized the figure was trapped, imprisoned within the mirror's depths. The figure in the mirror lunged towards Emily, its skeletal fingers splayed against the reflective surface. Emily stumbled back, a scream dying in her throat. The eyes of the figure followed her every move, burning into her soul. She could feel its desperation, its rage, its overwhelming need to break free. Emily knew with a sickening certainty that the rumors were true. This house was cursed, haunted by something ancient and evil. And now, she had stumbled upon its heart, its source. The tapping resumed, more insistent now, more frantic. It was the sound of something desperate to escape its prison. Emily knew she had to get out of the attic, had to warn her family, but her feet felt rooted to the spot, paralyzed by fear. Night after night, the tapping continued, relentless, driving Emily to the brink of madness. She barely slept, haunted by nightmares of the figure in the mirror, its burning eyes, its desperate pleas. She tried to tell her family, but the words caught in her throat. How could she explain the terror that gripped her heart? How could she make them understand? Then, one night, the tapping stopped. Silence descended on the house, heavier, more ominous than any sound. Emily lay in bed, her body trembling, her eyes wide with fear. She could feel it. Something was different, something was terribly, horribly wrong. A blood-curdling scream tore through the night. Emily's parents rushed to her room only to find her bed empty, the window wide open. The storm had reached its peak, rain lashing against the house, wind howling like a banshee. Emily was gone, vanished without a trace. The police searched for weeks, but Emily was never found. The locals whispered that the house had finally claimed its latest victim, that the shadow in the mirror had broken free, taking Emily's life force as its own. Emily's parents, heartbroken and racked with guilt, were forced to accept the unthinkable. Their daughter was gone. The house stood empty once more, its windows dark and lifeless. The Victorian beauty that had once captivated Emily's parents now seemed grotesque, a mask concealing a heart of darkness. The house remained unsold, a stark reminder of the tragedy that had unfolded within its walls. The shadow in the attic became a local legend, a cautionary tale whispered around bonfires and shared in hushed tones on dark, stormy nights. It served as a chilling reminder that some secrets are best left buried, some doors best left unopened. For within the walls of that old Victorian house, evil had found a home, and it was hungry for more,